Is this new tornado film a twisted tale or does it blow? Let's talk about it now. Hi everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass, and I'm here to talk to you about Twisters, which is releasing on July 19th, 2024. It is a new tornado film that has a similar, I guess, feel to Twister, and I guess is maybe a sequel-ish, a successor maybe of Twister, but it is its own separate movie, its own separate story. My hot take is I think you should watch it. I actually enjoyed this a lot more than I expected to. I actually shouldn't say that because it usually means it like isn't really that good, but I enjoyed it more than I thought. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really fun movie. It is a new Twister-based story that has some great effects, fun characters, plenty of humor, and a couple of twists along the way. I really like this. I really enjoyed this movie. It's just a really fun summer movie. It's got those really big effects that you want to see in theaters. It's got a lot of fun characters, a really great cast. It's just a really fun overall experience. So I definitely think you should check it out. Check it out when it comes to theaters on July 19th, 2024. And you might be wondering, do I need to see the first movie to enjoy this one? You don't have to. There is, I mean, there might be more references I didn't catch, but there is one major reference to the first movie that if you haven't seen it, you're not really going to care that much. So this is really kind of its own standalone story. You don't have to see Twister before you see it. I still think you should see Twister. It is a classic, but if you haven't seen Twister, you can still see Twisters and have a really great time and really enjoy it. Also, there is no stinger after the credits. So after you see this movie, you don't have to stay till the very end of the credits. But at the start of the credits, there are some fun movie related items that show up. I'll talk about those later in the ending section, but just, stay for the first part of the credits, but you don't have to stay till the end. So all that being said, I'm going to tell you a little about the film, a few things I like, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into the ending. So as you can imagine, there will be spoilers in the ending section. If you don't want to know what happens in this movie, and you might not, there are some, like I said, twists along the way, then I would turn it off when I get there. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. I'll let you know when I get to those spoilers. So Twisters follows Kate, who is a brilliant, weather scientist. She has this feel for the weather and she has been fascinated by tornadoes ever since she was a kid. But after an intense experience, she decides to kind of leave that behind. But she is pulled back in later because of this generational tornado season that could be even more dangerous than the experience she had before. So, things I liked about this movie. The first, I love the effects. It is a summer movie. It has really great effects. I mean, not just the big tornadoes, which you expect to be good. They're really good, but there's also really great weather effects. There's really good destruction. I mean, things just get destroyed and it looks really good. And the aftermath also looks really good. It looks like stuff is just demolished through and through. I'm sure it's a mix of CG and practical effects, but the end result is just a really good, really entertaining film. The second thing I love the characters. I mean, you've got some really interesting out there characters to mix it up. You've got some straight-laced ones, you've got some who are like scientists, but then you've got some kind of more X Factor characters that do kind of make it a more fun experience. The third thing I love the cast, especially Daisy Edgar-Jones and Glen Powell. They form kind of the main two characters in this film, and they are a lot of fun together. They have a really good chemistry. They have really fun, interesting characters, and you find out there's a lot more to both of them throughout the movie. The fourth thing I like the music. This movie is set in Oklahoma. It is like an unabashed love letter to Oklahoma, and the music represents that also. There are a lot of songs that feel like they have plenty of Oklahoma references, plenty of Midwest references, a lot of country music, and it kind of fits perfectly with the theme of this film. And the last thing I love, it's funny. Like it has really great action, but it also has really funny moments. Again, it is a really good kind of summer movie. It's definitely something that is going to be entertaining, something that's going to be enjoyable. And some of the ribs between the cast, especially some of the competing storm chasing teams, are really fun to see. So, all that being said, things I didn't love as much, minor things. The first, there are some pretty quick character turns. I mean, they're convenient for the story. They make it so certain characters can redeem themselves, things like that. But they happen fairly quickly, they happen pretty abruptly, and they happen at convenient times. So just know that it's not a big surprise. I don't really ruin the movie. It just kind of like came at a convenient time. And the second thing I didn't love, this one was a weird one. Rumble question mark. I saw this in Dolby, which usually has really great rumble, and this would be a film that rumble would be perfect. You've got big storms, big effects. You expect the seats to rumble, to feel the terror, to feel the weather, to feel all that. I didn't even notice it. So I don't know if it was just my screening. Maybe my screening was messed up and they didn't have the right cut, or maybe they just didn't focus on rumble. I mean, the sound was good. The picture was great. I just expected a little bit more. When I see something in Dolby and it has that ability to rumble, like a car movie, some sort of race movie, some sort of disaster movie, you really get that wonderful feel. You really get into it when you have that rumble, and this one just didn't have it. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's the movie. I don't know if it was my theater, but I was a little bit disappointed in that. Again, I still like the movie. Minor points, but something I was kind of looking forward to. So all that being said, Twisters come to theaters on July 19th, 2024. Like I said, I think you should watch it. It's just really fun, really entertaining, really enjoyable movie experience. So if you do check it out, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I would love to hear it. And I'm going to go into a recap and the ending right now. So if you don't know what happens in this movie, I would turn it off now because there will be spoilers. So Twisters starts with Kate and her friends. They are storm chasers. They're trying to test Kate's theory. She is coming up with a theory to try to prevent to try to stop twisters in their path. Her theory is to shoot up this absorbent compound, these absorbent beads. Essentially, they say what they use in diapers. They say that it's biodegradable. I don't know if diapers are biodegradable. Maybe they are. Maybe I don't think they are, but who knows? Maybe. But they're going to shoot up these moisture absorbing beads into a twister and hope that sucks up the moisture and then kind of causes the twister to dissipate. They're going to test this out. They have everything set up and they go chasing the storm. Now, Kate seems to be essentially, she has this gift. She has a gift for weather. She can always kind of sense where the weather's coming from. She can always sense what is going to happen. And so she leads them to a tornado. Now they have everything set up. They've got their barrels of the moisture beads that they're going to release in the path of the twister, but they also have a little surprise. They have Dorothy, which is the barrel, the device from Twister. They have Dorothy on there, and inside they have all the Twister probes, the little pinwheel type probes. They're going to go up into the tornado and get data. Well, they have that there too. They're going to release both the beads and these probes to see what happens. And they make some jokes about this thing. They talk about how this thing is so old and broken, and they try to work with it, and it has some issues. But Javi, Anthony Ramos' character, is don't worry, it's battle tested. So you get a little hint that this is an older piece of technology. So Javi stays back in a van to get the data from Dorothy and some of the other stuff. And the rest of the crew goes to chase the storm. They go into the path of the tornado. They release their cargo. The barrel goes up. All the beads go up. The drones go up. But something doesn't seem right. The twister isn't getting less powerful. It's getting more powerful. It's growing and growing. It grows into an EF5 twister, which is, I guess, the largest one. I think in Twister, the movie, they called it basically the finger of God. So not good for our friends who are right there. They try to drive away. They try to escape, but the storm is too powerful. It causes the visibility to get too bad. I think something hits the truck and causes them to swerve off. And so they have to get out of there. They have to run. So Kate, her boyfriend, and two other people, they're all trying to make it to this underpass, basically the area under a bridge. And so that's not the best place to be, but that's the only cover they've got. They all get up there, they're running, but as they're getting there, some of them don't make it. One of the friends gets sucked up as they're running away. They get to the underpass. They're climbing up, trying to get really close to that road to make sure that there's not much space between them for, I guess, the wind to suck them out. And as they're climbing up, one of the other friends gets sucked up as well. So the only people left are Kate and her boyfriend. Kate gets injured during this run and is barely climbing up. Her boyfriend gets up there first, pulls her up, and puts her right in the nook. And then he gets on top of her to protect her. He says, don't worry, you'll be fine. And then he gets sucked up as well. Kate's the only one to survive. Well, Kate and Javi, because Javi didn't go into the storm. They're the only ones to survive. Fast forward 5 years. Kate is now in New York. She is I guess, weather analyst. She's working with I guess 20 other analysts to predict storms and things like that. She's doing what she loves, but she's not in the field anymore. She is now safe in an office. She feels like her storm chasing days are behind her. Well, one day, she gets a visit from a random person. It's Javi. Javi comes to visit her and tell her about his venture. After that whole incident, after they lost all their friends, he joined the military. He needed something to do. So he joined the military, where he worked with high-powered radar arrays, essentially. And he's like, I started thinking this would be great to get data for storms. Sure, why not? But he's like, these are too big. They're building size radars. But wouldn't you know it, the military created a smaller, more portable version to use. So he got 3 of them to do testing so that they could get data about these tornadoes. And I guess he's going to use this data to predict tornadoes. I don't know why they need the data. I'm sure they have some use for it. But he needs one person because he has a great team. He's got a great team of people. He needs one person. He needs Kate. Kate, with her innate ability to find storms, he needs her to help him find a storm so they can set it up and get that information. She says, "No, I'm done with that. I'm here. I don't do the field." But eventually, Javi convinces her. And I was like, okay, this will be interesting. Like, Javi's military. It's gonna be like a weird military mix of people trying to do this. Nope. Javi apparently got out of the military. I guess maybe he only did 4 years. I'm not sure. That seems a little short, but he apparently did the military and then bounced. And now he has his own company with investors to do this. His company is called Stormpar, and I guess they bought this military technology to use. I guess these investors really want this tornado data for something, and so now he has miniature versions of high-powered military radar arrays for storm data. Sure. So Kate decides to come. He wants to help people. She wants to help people. So she comes out too. They go to a like storm chaser meetup place, I guess, somewhere that everyone's there. And there you get to see the variety of storm chasers. So you've got Javi and his crew. They're buttoned up. They're like all scientists. They've got the technology. They got the funding. But then you have a few more kind of freelance people. You got people who are just like trying to chase storms for the thrill of it. And you have this group of YouTubers led by this person, Tyler Owens. They seem like crazy folk. They seem like they are doing it for the views, for the hits. I mean, they just seem like heroes, right? Like out there making YouTube videos, just doing the Lord's work, just loving life. Well, they also seem a little bit crazy. Like they drive into storms. They seem like they are essentially cowboys, and they're doing it for the thrill. But Tyler and Kate start talking, and they talk about storms. And Kate tries to trick Tyler. They said that there's two directions they could go. She says that Tyler should go this way, but then Kate decides to go the other way. Well, Tyler sees through it, and he follows her as well. So they're both following this storm pattern, and a tornado shows up. Now, Javi and Kate are excited because they can set up and do their data array. They need three of these radars to be set up essentially in 3 points around the tornado to be able to get all the data. So the other two set up, and the only one left is Javi and Kate. They have to be in front of the tornado, I guess, to get the last piece of information. And so they get close to there. Javi is getting ready to set up the array, but Kate gets scared. She can't do it. So she says Javi, no, we can't. We're too close. She drives the truck away, basically out of the path of the tornado, and they lose that opportunity. But Tyler and his crew don't lose the opportunity. They drive right into the tornado and they shoot off fireworks in the tornado. And they're, doing this for clicks, for views. They're doing it to like someone, I guess, ask, can you shoot off fireworks in the tornado? And Tyler's like, the answer is yes. So they're having more fun, but they're also being a little more reckless. But Tyler is not one-dimensional. We find out that he has layers later. Afterwards, after this debacle, Kate and Javi are going to try again, but Kate is going to her room and she sees the whole like storm chaser crew there, and they talk a little bit briefly, and Tyler keeps calling her city girl because she says that she's from New York. And she mentions that she studied meteorology, and the crew's like, Tyler studied meteorology, and Tyler doesn't want to bring this up. He wants to kind of like maintain his cowboy persona. But we find out that maybe Tyler has a little bit more going on than we think. So the next day, the two crews are chasing the storm again, and this time we have, I guess, a twin tornado. So there's a tornado, another one right next to it. They're going, and we have to figure out which one are they going to go for, which is going to be the right tornado. Well, the conditions for the one on the right seem better. So initially, Kate says they should go right, and Tyler decides to go right. But at the last minute, Kate sees like some wind patterns in the corn or in the wheat, and was like, no, we should go left. So they go left. Now, Tyler thinks they made the wrong choice because the right conditions are over on the right. And so they get there, they set up, they're going to shoot off flares into the tornado or something. But that one dissipates. The one on the left is fine. They get there, the crew's set up. Kate and Javi set up their radar right in time. They start getting data. They drive away. But this tornado gets pretty big. The radar that Kate and Javi have gets sucked up into the tornado, so they lose some of the data, but they got enough, I guess. And the tornado keeps going on its path, tearing through the city. Now, Javi wants to get this radar back because it's got the data. They need to get the data from the radar itself. And so it has GPS on it. They can locate it. But Kate's like, no, we have to help these people. The tornado just went through a town. They got to go help these people. And so Kate wins out. They end up going to the town. They're helping some people. They're helping like clear debris, helping people rebuild their lives. And while they're there, one of Javi's investors shows up, and it's this person. I forget what his name is, but he's essentially a big business person, and he's there talking to people who've lost their homes. And we find out that maybe there's a little bit something shady going on with Javi. It seems like this person shows up where there's devastation and buys people's property who are uninsured or underinsured. So he basically like gives them a portion of what they're worth, like essentially a fire sale type payment, and I guess these people get to move on, but they're selling their land for less than it's worth. And then this person has profits, gets the land. I don't know what he does, develops, maybe sells it, who knows. But it seems like that is part of the that is one of the investors, the main investor that Javi has. And you're like, that's weird. Like, I don't know why he needs Javi then. Like, why does he need this like fancy truck and equipment to get this tornado data when he can just figure out where the tornadoes are and go and offer to purchase it? I mean, I guess maybe they do some research. Like one of the people when they get there says like, hey, this was a family-owned business, so I'm going to get a dossier ready for whoever their investor is. But seems like an unnecessary amount of investment. And I don't know why they need the tornado data. Maybe to model tornadoes better to find out where the destruction is going to go so they can get there quicker. I don't know. But so Javi, maybe a little bit shady. Now, Tyler, on the other hand, he's there too. He's helping to like pick up, he's helping to look for a dog or something like that. His crew is there, handing out food, selling t-shirts. And at first, Kate's a little disgusted by this. She's like, oh, they're just profiting off of these people too. But as she's leaving, one of Tyler's crew comes up and says, hey, Kate, have some food. And she's like, I don't have any money. I can't buy it. They're like, no, it's free. It's like, oh, give it to someone who needs it. Well, like, at least have some water. Um, and she said, I think she makes some crack about like, shouldn't you be selling shirts? And she's like, no, like all this stuff is free. Like it's all paid for by the shirts and merchandise. So it seems like Tyler's crew, as boisterous and fun as they are, also have some heart too. They are using their money, they're using their profits to help people who are affected by the tornado. So seems like Tyler has some more layers. Now Kate leaves and goes back to the hotel, and later Tyler comes by her room with some food. He says like you should at least eat. And then he says, you know, you've seen so much destruction. I want to show you something nice. And so he takes Kate to a rodeo, and he's calling her city girl. He thinks that she's from New York. And so at the rodeo, they're talking, and Tyler's like explaining it to her, and she's like, you know, I grew up like 3 hours from here. Like I grew up in Oklahoma. This ain't my first rodeo. Great line, great line. So Tyler finds out a little bit more about Kate, and we also find out that Tyler, I guess, used to compete in rodeos because one of the rodeo people like recognizes him. So they have a nice night, but during the rodeo, a tornado touches down like right outside the rodeo. Everyone has to get out of there. Everyone has to escape. It's pandemonium. Kate and Tyler run into this like motel to look for shelter. There's no basement. There's no storm cellar. But Kate's quick thinking saves them. She sees a pool that has like some exposed piping, I guess, and they go into the pool, hold onto the piping. They save a family, like a mother and her daughter. Some other people get sucked away, but they survive. So after this, Kate takes the storm par truck and goes back home. She goes to visit her mother, who she hasn't seen in years. She hasn't been back since I think that whole incident with her friends where they all got killed. So she's avoided Oklahoma. Now she's back. She goes to see her mother. Her mother is excited to see her. Her mother works on a farm. Kate grew up on a farm. Her mother is still working the farm. And Kate goes and looks at some of her old like tornado research. It's all in this barn. It's all been left for her. But all of her old tornado research is there. Now, later, Tyler shows up. Tyler shows up at her house, and Kate's like, how'd you find me? And Tyler's like, one of the people on my crew figured out who you were. Like they made the connection and, you know, realized that you were the person from that story. And he's like, I'm really sorry for your friends. I'm really sorry. And then Kate's mother comes in and she's like, hey, are you staying for dinner? And Kate's like, no, he can't. And Tyler's like, oh, you know, I don't want to impose. And she's like, nonsense. Of course you're staying. And you can call me Kathy. So it seems like Kate's mother sees maybe a spark between them. We'll see. So they stay, they have a lovely dinner. It's very nice, like a nice family event. And I'm like, is this actually a rom-com? Is this movie a disaster movie that's actually masquerading as a rom-com? Because you got the big city girl going back to her hometown, finding not the local high school star or something like that, but you know, a local-ish boy, someone who was a rodeo star who is in Oklahoma, and maybe she's rediscovering her roots, rediscovering what she needs. Might be a rom-com, who knows? But later that night, Tyler is looking over her research and he says, you might be onto something. And Kate seems like very upset that he's looking at his research, but Tyler understands what's going on. Remember, Tyler has some layers. He's got some training. Tyler says, you know, I could take this information and put it into my model. We could see what happened. And Kate's like, no, like it didn't work. Like it didn't work for me. Like I tried it and it failed. So she's really upset. Tyler, I think, takes the hint. They kind of end the night there. The next day, Tyler's about to leave, and Kate goes up to his car and's like, "You can model it." So Tyler takes her data, puts it into a model, and it seems like it should work. It seems like the model says that it should stop the tornado. But it didn't work, right? So Kate says maybe it's the model. And so they get Javi to bring the data that they've gotten from Storm Power. So Javi gives it to Kate to make up for some of the shadiness of his company. And also, he said something really terrible to Kate when she left to go see her mom. So to make up for it, Javi gives the data. And I'm like, Javi, this is your like company data. This is what you've got going on. You shouldn't just give it out. But he does. He does to make it up. And so Kate and Tyler now use this new data to model the tornado, and it's much better data. And they realize that there's some moisture that's unaccounted for. I guess they weren't exactly accurate. Maybe there's like rain. I don't know exactly what it is, but there's some moisture that wasn't accounted for. So that's why it didn't work. It didn't suck up all the moisture. And so they come up with this new idea to shoot silver nitride rockets into the tornado. And I guess that'll cause more precipitation to come down. And then they shoot off the beads, and those beads will then suck up all the moisture and stop the tornado. Sure. And who would be best suited for this? Well, Tyler's crazy crew, the one that like shot off fireworks and flares into a tornado already, they'd be perfectly situated. So now we got the new crew there. They get set up, they make the silver nitride rockets, they get barrels and barrels of these beads, they get ready to go, they get all set up, and they find a tornado. They go into it, they get ready to test it out. But Javi is there too. He's trying to get more data, I guess more data for his investors, who knows. But Javi is there too. They are competing throughout the movie, and now they're competing for this one tornado. Now the tornado grows too big, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it becomes dangerous. Javi's truck gets like stuck, and then it looks like something bad is going to happen because the tornado goes over an oil refinery and becomes just like a fire tornado. But it's fine, it doesn't destroy Javi. His truck gets actually put back up from some of the wind, so it gets rolled over and then put back up. So Javi doesn't get the data, but also Kate and Tyler don't get their like stopping of the tornado. They aren't. It's not the right setup. It's too powerful. They don't get the right angle, so they can't do anything about it. But they do see the tornado is heading towards a small town, and so Kate and Tyler are like, we gotta go. We gotta go warn them. We gotta save them. So they go off. Javi is like, we should go save them too. We should go help also. And his partner, who's in there, one of the other people that we've seen before, is like, no, like we need the data. I don't care about the people. We need the data. And Javi's like, okay, you're right. And so he tricks his partner to get out, and then as soon as his partner gets out of the car, out of the truck, Javi drives away to help. Now, Glen and Tyler and the rest of the crew get there first. They're helping people. They're telling people, you gotta evacuate, get out of here, get out of here. People start to evacuate. The shelter is all full, but the movie theater is not. And so they get people into the movie theater to try to like save them. Now, during this time, a piece of debris falls on Tyler, and Tyler is trapped. Kate's trying to lift it. She's like worried. She's like essentially like, I'm not going to leave you. I don't think she wants to lose two love interests in one movie. So she's trying to help, but it's too heavy. And as this water tower looks like it's about to collapse, Javi shows up with a beam to help leverage this. He helps to lift this piece off of Tyler. They get him out just in time as the water tower collapses on top of them. And everyone's safe. Everyone's fine. They all get into this movie theater and they're trying to find somewhere to hide. They need to go below ground, but there's no basement. There's no storm cellar in this movie theater. Everyone here is essentially like sitting ducks. And so they get worried. They're like, this building's not made to withstand what's going to happen. Like everyone here is going to be killed. So as Javi and Tyler are trying to figure out what to do, Kate runs to the car and drives off into the storm. Javi and Tyler figure this out a little bit too late. They open the door to see Kate's truck driving into the storm. And they're like, no, like, what's she doing? And I was like, why aren't you filming this? This is what you want. This is like great content. She's going to try to stop a tornado. You should be filming it. No one pulls out their phone. No one films this. Really weird. These YouTubers should have like things set up on them all the time. I don't know, body cams, who knows? No one films it. Kate drives into the tornado. Javi and Tyler have to close the door because it gets too intense. And Kate drives into the tornado. She shoots off the silver nitride rockets. She gets under the tornado. She anchors the truck and is getting ready to launch the beads. Now, during this time, the movie theater is taking a beating. Pieces start to fly off, like the roof starts to like pull away. It doesn't look good for our friends. Now, Kate is able to release the beads, but it doesn't seem to stop the tornado. Her truck is anchored, but this is a category 5 or an ER5 tornado. This truck is not rated for that. So it starts to get kind of like pulled around. The trailer gets like pulled off of the truck, and eventually it flips over a couple times. Now, back in the movie theater, the front of the movie theater is pulled off, and a couple people get pulled out as well. Now, one of the storm chaser crew is starting to get pulled out, but Tyler grabs her hand right before she does, and he's holding on tight, holding on tight. But this isn't looking good. She is like getting pulled out of the theater. Tyler's holding on just by his boots. But wouldn't you know it, the beads start to work. The tornado starts to like change shape, and it dissipates as she's getting pulled away. So everyone's fine. Everyone's safe. Is Kate safe? We don't know. Her truck is upside down. Tyler and Javi run to see her, run to get her. And turns out she's hurt, but she's okay. She's fine. The truck is destroyed, but she's fine. So everything's fine. And Kate's technology worked. It stopped the tornado. It saved these people, but more importantly, it stopped this tornado in its tracks. It seems like her theory worked. So, fast forward. Now, Kate and Javi apparently are partners in Storm Power. I guess, I don't know if he ditched his investors or maybe pivoted, but they're trying to sell this like storm stopping, tornado stopping technology. So Kate is getting ready to fly to New York to pitch. Now, Javi goes to drop her off. And wouldn't you know it, Tyler's there too. Tyler's there with his truck. He's getting harassed by security saying he has to move, but he's there to see Kate off. He goes up to see Kate. He's like, are you leaving without telling me when you're returning? And she's like, maybe, but if you feel it, you should chase it, which is his line. His YouTube channel's like slogan is, if you feel it, you should chase it. So she turns that around on him, tells him that, and then she goes off into the airport. Now, Tyler's been getting harassed to move his truck. He goes back to his truck, getting ready to move, and he looks at her. He looks at her like walking to the airport and anchors his car. Anchoring means he like pushes a button where some drills drill down into the ground to like stop his car from being pulled away in a tornado. Well, he does this in an airport, ruins their street. I don't think that's going to be good for him, but he does it anyways, and he goes inside to follow Kate. He gets in there. She's looking up at the flight. She's looking up at the flights, figuring out when hers is. He gets up next to her, and as he gets up next to her, we hear an announcement over the speakers saying, due to the storm activity, you should expect delays. Now, Tyler and Kate look at each other, and then Tyler grabs her bag. They turn around. They run outside. Looks like they're going to go chase some storms also. And that's Twisters. Now, during the credits, there are some fun scenes. There's some fun, scene, like pictures from the movie. Like, essentially, there is a reporter that is with them throughout. So he takes pictures throughout, and you get to see some of those pictures in the movie. And you see news articles detailing Tyler, Javi, and Kate and some of their new ventures, see what happens to them after the fact. It is a nice little touch. It's only the first part of the credits, though. After that part, it just goes to standard credits, and there's no stinger at the end. And also, there are no cameos. No cameos from the original Twister. I don't know. I wanted to see maybe Helen Hunt in there. She didn't make an appearance. Maybe she was busy. Who knows? But that is Twisters. Like I said, you definitely should watch it. It is fun. It is enjoyable. I really liked it. I liked it a lot more than I expected to. So definitely check it out in theaters on July 19, 2024. And thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.